if I had known that Prince Andrew was lying when he said that he had not severed relations with Jeffrey Epstein, I would not have defended him. He could have simply said, even if I was supposed to have slept with her, I committed no crime, and there's no big deal about it. She was, by her own account, a 17-year-old prostitute. My recommendation to them now would be either come clean or disappear.
Today, growing tensions between King Charles and Prince William have been reported over Prince Andrew, with consternation over the fact that the monarch will not remove certain privileges from his brother, including, according to Tom Sykes of The Royalist, his shooting weekends. Now, Andrew has been losing huge amounts of allies over the past fortnight because of two damning moments. The first, the leak of this email that he sent to Jeffrey Epstein after the publication of the picture featuring Virginia Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell, where he said, as you can see there, it would seem we are in this together. Let's keep in touch. We'll play some more soon. An email, not just mortifying in its language, but also something that blows up Andrew's long-held alibi that he put forward in, for example, the interview with Emily Maitlis. And now more recently, the Virginia Giuffre autobiography, released from Beyond the Grave months after her suicide, where she goes into the most detail yet about her intimate or allegedly intimate moments with Prince Andrew. Now, you know, I've always been pretty moderate on this issue. I don't trust and never trusted everything that Virginia Giuffre said. And I think in a lot of ways, Prince Andrew has been made a scapegoat here. And he has been made a scapegoat for the Americans, like Bill Clinton and Bill Gates, who had these very close relationships with Jeffrey Epstein, but it was much easier to go for the British royal. However, it is impossible to avoid this growing reality that the latest revelations are indeed concerning, suggests that both Andrew and Fergie have been lying through their teeth, and that Prince William's idea of exile, not just for Prince Harry, because he wants that too, but for Prince Andrew may be more sensible. And as you know, I was very taken with Lady Colin Campbell seemingly withdrawing support for Prince Andrew after the more recent revelations. Now, as you'll see, she'll be here very shortly, but let me just take you through what she posted on this. Writing, to me personally, it is a matter of considerable perplexity and disappointment that Prince Andrew and Fergie have shown themselves to have been so disingenuous with regards to their friendship with Epstein. I appreciate that they felt trapped in an invidious position from which they needed to extricate themselves with what we can politely call finesse. But the emerging two-facedness of the couple is showing how foolish they truly were. As someone who got caught up in his duplicitous denials to the extent that I ended up having to sue the Daily Mirror for libel, thereby involving me in nearly 4 years of the most stressful litigation, I feel I am well placed to observe that all they needed to do, and should have done from the outset, was play with a straight bat. They could have and should have said what everyone with even peripheral knowledge of the matter believed, including Peter Mandelson and Tony Blair. Namely, that Jeffrey Epstein was a sleazebag who availed himself on a daily basis of the services of young women whom he paid to provide him with relief, and while this was morally degenerate in the eyes of many, insofar as they were concerned he had broken no laws and they felt it was none of their business what he did in their personal life. Lady Colin Campbell joins me now. Lady C, do these revelations, both in terms of Virginia's autobiography, but perhaps most damningly this email, mean that now William is right and that exile is becoming the only option? on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to all of our brand new Outspoken videos.
Well, Dan, I have to say, first of all, if I had known that Prince Andrew was lying when he said that he had not severed relations with Jeffrey Epstein, I would not have defended him, because I defended him on the basis that I thought he was speaking the truth, which I did. Now, as you might know, I have close friends who are very involved and close to Andrew and Sarah. So I know a lot more, and I'm sure you do as well, than the general public knows. And I well understand why Andrew has not wanted to come clean about certain aspects of his private life. But it doesn't alter the fact that he has handled the whole thing extremely badly, and he shouldn't have lied. He should have simply said, I did not sleep with Virginia Giuffre for XYZ reasons. Well, I get why he didn't say that, but then he could have also said, she also was, by her own account, was paid $15,000 for claiming that she had slept with me, even though I have always asserted I never slept with her. And this shows, A, no crime can have been committed as she was over the age of consent. B, there is nothing that unusual of a 17-year-old prostitute sleeping with a 40-year-old man, especially one who is one of the most desirable bachelors on earth, and who, according to her, she led him to believe she fancied him. He could have simply said, even if I was supposed to have slept with her, I committed no crime, and there's no big deal about it. She was, by her own account, a 17-year-old prostitute, and that's all there is. He should have and could have and really should have done it, because, you know, Virginia Giuffre's book is very redolent of a 1940s movie called Leave Her to Heaven, which starred Gene Tierney and Cornel Wilde, about a girl who was so determined to have her own way that she was prepared to commit suicide to prove her point. And I think Virginia Giuffre had absolutely no wriggle room left. She had destroyed her family and her relationship with her family, her marital family, her husband, her children. She had played being a victim once too often and once too richly. Virginia Giuffre earned a lot of money making claims, and there has been an awful lot of court proceedings, which I have seen sight of, that confirm that Virginia Giuffre is a totally unreliable witness. And I don't care that she's written this book and she's dead. I'm sorry, to me, it's a little bit too much like Gene Tierney's character in Leave Her to Heaven. And I thought she was a liar when she was alive, and I think she's a liar now. I also think, unfortunately, that Andrew and Sarah have both shown themselves to be liars. And I don't really regret having done what I did, because I did what I did. Well, I was actually told by Piers Morgan's people that they couldn't get anybody else to defend Andrew, and to say that they believed Andrew's version of the Emily Maitlis interview. And I did. I thought he was perfectly credible. Maybe I was being naive, and I don't mind being duped by people. as I said to one of my sisters, she said repeatedly over the years, your name should be Patsy. Uh, I've said to her, well, I don't mind being a patsy because I would sooner give people a chance and be proven wrong than be like you, who never gives anybody a chance. And often you are proven wrong in a less humane way. So I don't actually, from that point of view, regret it. But I certainly have to tell you, had I known what was that Andrew was lying through his back teeth, and that Sarah was as well, I would have absolutely not got involved. And my recommendation to them now would be either come clean or disappear. I do not think, having said all of that, that it is the place of the press to set themselves up as judge and jury and to demand that and to deprive people who have actually committed no crime, say, against good taste and good judgment, that they be deprived of their right of association with their family privately. I think it is an abuse of press power to try to interfere to that extent in the private and family life of any individual, especially one who has not committed a crime. We are supposed to live in a compassionate world, and and certainly before you had all of this woke pseudo compassion, the Christian attitude was hate the sin, love the sinner, with the result that even people who committed terrible crimes at the point of execution, their family would still be there supporting them, not having supported the crime, but having executed their spiritual duty to their son, daughter, sibling, whatever. And I think there are spiritual aspects to this that have been totally ignored. And I think the press is being extremely abusive. And it's none of their business whether Andrew is allowed to shoot. It's an impertinence, as far as I can see, aside from being an abuse, that the press would say, well, because Andrew has lied, and I've got news for you. Most people caught in a very awkward situation, as he was, and indeed Sarah was as well, most people would lie. I mean, have they said that Hugh Edwards should be stripped of his pension? Have they said that Philip Schofield should have been stripped of his pension? Have they said that Rachel Reeves or whoever the hell, it's not Rachel, is it Rachel? No, the
Angela
other
Rayner.
one. Angela Rayner should, are they saying that these people should not have any support from any member of their family? No, they're not. I think they are. I think the press itself is being abusive and overreaching. And I think there are moral and ethical issues at stake here, as well as civil rights issues that are being totally ignored. And that's my take on it. So I don't know.
Well, I've got a couple of things to pick up on. I mean, the argument from people close to King Charles is that if you take away Prince Andrew's shooting privileges, which I think he has at Sandringham, not even at Balmoral and Windsor. Yeah, if you take them away, right? What does this man actually have to live for whatsoever? And the thing about Andrew is that compared to Harry and Meghan, which are viewed as a bigger problem, by the way, at Buckingham Palace, and people might not like that, and I know Tom Sykes doesn't like that, but that is the reality, because Andrew has withdrawn from public obvious things you can put into your body. But the majority of Americans are guilty of making this single mistake that can counteract all of the health benefits of fruit. Some fruits can help with occasional constipation, reduce bloating, and even help burn calories. Others can wreak havoc on your digestive system and energy levels. Now, I came across this viral presentation from world-renowned heart surgeon Dr. Stephen Gundry that showcases the 3 fruits to stop eating today. It was shocking. I had no idea. And after finding it out, I've stopped eating these too. I'm going to put a link for you all to watch it because I want you all to gain this information. I think it's truly important, actually. You can go watch it right now at thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. That's thehealthyfat.com/outspoken. I've also linked it in the description box below this video too, or if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble, you can just click on the QR code on screen or hold up your phone, to the QR code. You know how it works. Oh, and by the way, eliminating these fruits could forever change the way we help increase energy levels, decrease brain fog, support digestion, and even lose weight. So make sure to click on the link below or go to thehealthyfat.com/outspoken to find out now. Dr. Gundry has lost 70 pounds himself using his research and has kept the weight off for over 20 years and counting. His digestive issues are gone. His health is fantastic. He feels younger today than he did in his 40s. His video has been watched by over 20 million people to date. You can watch and learn more about it at The Health of the Show. He went to a private funeral, and I know the choreography was very unfortunate, and it was unfortunate for William, and it was terrible that Andrew was such a buffoon that he cracked that joke. I mean, it was so bad. But he has fundamentally withdrawn from public life. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. Second thing I wanted to say about the Virginia Giuffre issue is that I don't regret my position at all on this, because Virginia Giuffre, and of course I have sympathy for what she went through in her life, especially her early life, but she was a proven liar, Lady C, on multiple occasions. And it is just worth spelling out some of those. So, for example, she initially claimed, Lady C, that she was 15 when she was approached by Ghislaine Maxwell at Mar-a-Lago. Now, that is a critical point, right? But actually, the employment records from Mar-a-Lago actually confirmed that she was 17. So 15 and 17, given the context of this case, that makes a real big difference. The Alan Dershowitz case is incredibly important. This is a very famous law professor, and she claimed that she had been trafficked to Dershowitz by Epstein in a 2014 court filing. She had to drop that lawsuit, admitting that it was a confusion with another individual, given that Dershowitz had countersued her for defamation, and she had to publicly admit regret for that error. She is also said to have fabricated one of the meetings with Prince Andrew. This was in 2014 at a ranch in Santa Fe, and she did acknowledge committing perjury in that specific filing, although she maintained the core abuse allegations were true. And then, of course, Lady C, just before her death, she had posted on social media claiming that she had been in this very serious collision with a bus and indeed was days from death. And again, that proved not to be true. So even though this book is very slick, don't get me wrong, Lady C, it is a very, if everything in this book were true, it's utterly damning for Prince Andrew. But unfortunately, I just don't think it is. What it is it's a very slickly produced book, which is beautifully written by professionals who know that they need to make this woman look as credible as possible, because, of course, it was intended to be released when she was alive. And just the final point I would make, Lady C, is, of course, Andrew did want to defend himself in court, but the entire royal establishment came down on him like a ton of bricks and said, this will destroy your mother's platinum jubilee. You cannot do this. You have to settle. And so he was damned in one way, damned in the other way, because then he never defended himself in court in order to preserve his mother's jubilee. But now people say, well, you paid her off. Well, yes, he did. He did pay her off using the Queen's mother, but he didn't admit to doing anything wrong.
And not the 12 million that he's alleged to have paid her off either.
No, and there was no admission of guilt on his part. So it's difficult, isn't it?
And also, Dan, when you brought up Dershowitz, originally and this is all there in black and white, incidentally, when Sharon Churchill